Well, I think it might work this way. You can call up references. So if I call up a reference series, let's see, references, reference library, that's it. So here's a reference library that you have access to, and you can call up a reference spectrum for a Vega-like star. Here's A05 right here. And without even doing anything, you can see hydrogen alpha here is right there. And here's beta. That lines up with this spike here. And it's interesting that you can play games by flipping through the different spectra and taking a look and seeing what they look like. This is an O5V star, so this is an extremely hot star, O-class star. And most of the light of this star is wouldn't even reach my sensor. Some of it would. And then we can march through. This is now looking at B-class stars, and now here's the A-class stars. You see the hydrogen in these A stars is very pronounced, and then it comes into F and G. And watch what happens as you march through the different. We're now leaving these blue photons behind. This is a K-class star. Look at all the red now building. And now we're in the M-class stars. And they have some very prominent spectra, mainly of different of molecules. So oxides of metals, for example. Oh, got disconnected. Heavy metals. You got disconnected, or am I disconnected? Okay, so I'm still good. Okay. Well, let's take a look. I'll put this away. And okay, good to hear. So let's take a look. I want to cycle us over to another A-class star like Deneb and take a look and see what we see there. So I'll turn off our Vega spectrum. And I'm going to call up SkyTools, and we'll go to Deneb. So Deneb is right here. ARD. Okay, so if I single this guy out, we can slew here. Going to Deneb now. Here comes the telescope. And we're there. So I can retire this program, and we can look at a live spectrum now. Move us over here. Maybe what I'll do is adjust the ABY cam so we can see it. Live cam. Okay, so let me get KVY up here. And I want to select a new area so we get a good screen display of the spectrum. Okay, there we go. And select it. And this is now, there are my selection bars, and I'm going to put Deneb within that range. Now Deneb is another A-class star, so it should look very similar. And while we're at this, let me go to the exposure time. I'm going to click it up a little bit higher just to show you something. So there you can see in the spectrum, Deneb in the middle. On the right is the first order spectrum that we're looking at. I'm going to make it really bright. I don't know why it's not. There we go. Not super responsive here. That's what I want. Okay, so let me get this out of the way a little bit. So this gives an idea of the spectra that I was talking about a little while ago. So the spectrum that we are looking at is this one. Going from violet on the left all the way out to red, which is right there. And then here's the second order spectrum out here, but we're not looking at that. There's Deneb right here. Here's the other first order spectrum. But you can see that because of the blaze diffraction grading, most of the light is going in over here to the right-hand side spectrum. And that's one we're going to be looking at. And here's the second order spectrum on the left. So these symmetrical spectra, but the grading is designed to put most of the light in just one of the spectra. Okay, let me get rid of the scratch up, and I'm going to turn the, we can't be saturated. That'll ruin our ability to really analyze anything. So I think that's okay. Okay, so let's see. We're at 200, this is a dimmer star than Vega. My palette says it's 269 milliseconds. So let's try that. I'm going to isolate the spectrum more carefully to reduce the noise from the pixel. And there we go. And now, in your view, we can see some of these oxygen absorption bands down here. There are a couple of black features in there. Oops, that's fast. Let me clear it, and you can take a look right there. You'll see a couple of very prominent bands. So those are called telluric lines. Pilus in Latin means earthly or related to terra firma. And so these are telluric lines, and they're absorption caused by our own oxygen in our atmosphere. The lines are popping out now. It's not so bad. It's better when you have a little bit fainter spectrum. And actually, you know, Tom has great videos that describe how you use the software, and he's a big proponent of going live and recording videos, recording video clips, and then filing through the video clips and kind of doing lucky imaging where you pick the best views and then get a composite of them. Averaging frames does a lot to reduce noise. So if I do that here, we grab the cursor and click average of 10. That quiets right down. Now, looking up at the top, I don't see any notch for the beta line of hydrogen, but let's see if we can see it there after I magnify the thing. So let's calibrate the spectrum. And I would do that by resetting our numbers here. And I want to grab a new
Did he get disconnected or did I get disconnected?